Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the nice introduction. I'm going to be facing a tough task of following two great talks. I enjoyed listening to both of them. If I were to put them into two keywords, the first one I think is what is the role for each one of you here? And that's a question I was asking the organizers when they invited me. Other than investing in mutual funds, I have absolutely no idea about the industry, though I have been doing some technologies for them, but I don't understand the industry. And but the organizer said, that's the whole idea. We need to get a new perspective, and technology is going to change every industry. We'll talk about how it's going to change yours in a minute. So the first question from the first talk was, what is the role for each of you? And the second brilliant talk, I took the takeaway as narratives. My keyword, if I were to summarize my entire talk, it will be productivity. How do you do more with technology today? And if you think about today, one of the things about technology has done many things. And one of the things, the easiest example I always think about when I go to my doctor is that I have Googled more about the illness I've got, the symptoms, than probably the doctor. And that's a problem. Okay, I had a family doctor. Unfortunately, he passed away in Corona, the pandemic. The good thing I had, because I have had the family doctor, my father has been going to him for the last 30, 40 years, is that I don't need to Google. I just take whatever he says, and I just go with it. I don't Google. There is no second opinion. When our family doctor says something, it's the final thing. And it was very useful for me when my father fell down and he went into a coma. He was about 82 years. This is about 7, 8 years back. And we admitted him in the hospital, and everybody around us said, you need to immediately operate him. He was already in coma for a few hours, long story short. But you have to think twice, putting a man through a surgery, that to a brain surgery at 82 years. And I asked the doctor, the neurosurgeon who was treating him, doctor, what is the percentage Mr. Vardhan will come back from coma? He said, if there was a percentage, I would have given you, which probably means it was in the negative zones. But the easiest thing, I just called my family doctor and said, this is the symptom, this is the report, WhatsApp the report, and asked, doctor, what should I do? And my family doctor said, don't experiment with Mr. Vardhan. That's all he said. Those are 3 words I remember distinctly even today. And that's the trust I have on him. And now, because I'm going to a new doctor and it's been like 4 or 5 years, probably now I have a rapport with them, I had to Google every time whatever he says. Okay, should I take this medicine? And I don't understand anyway if I Google. But that's the problem. We got to second guess everything. And today, I'm sure that's a problem in your industry, because whenever my bankers or the wealth managers come back and say, this is the investment you need to do, I go and Google. Okay, should I do this? Most often I don't understand much of it, but then I Google. I'm sure that's a big problem for each one of you. Handling these questions, asking, when you give a recommendation to them, I'm sure you are bringing years of experience and perspective and thousands of clients that you're handling. And this is the recommendation you want your particular client to follow. And that's a problem for us in technology industry also. When we go to CIOs or COOs, we got to answer why this particular stack of technology. And today, that problem of your customers Googling, finding out more, is only going to get more worse in the next 12, 24 months. Many of this is going to be automated, or even as we speak today, in the last 12 months itself, a lot of things have been automated by ChatGPT, and it's only going to get worse. Take it from me, your job is not going to become easier. The role that you're playing, what is your role, is a question that's going to get more tougher in the next 12, 24 months. And technology grows exponentially. But this one, the ChatGPT, generative AI, we'll see, actually grows much more faster than even exponential. Every couple of days, it's actually changing. So we'll see as we move on. So what I want to do is, I want to show more of practical demos that you can go back and try. And very little theory. I'm not going to stand here and teach you generative AI, Python programming. Though if you want to change your career, Python programming is a good choice. You might want to learn, but that's a different topic. I'm going to show you how you can improve your productivity, simple prompt engineering with lots of examples. I hope it will be fun. I don't want to bore you with a lot of technology. Let's see how it goes. And why should you listen to me? As I said, I don't understand much about the industry. A couple of years back, about 4 years back, just right before the pandemic, if you ask about bad timing, this was in September 2019, Me and a friend, a long-time Microsoftie, we started a company, we started a startup in Seattle called Doku3C. And you couldn't have picked up a much worse time than that to start a startup when we had to go and meet a lot of people. But the good thing is, okay, I'll tell you a bit about the startup. This was a Doku3C. 3C means, right, like it says, we take a lot of the documents, we go into these large advisory firms in the US who have lots of documents, just like you would be doing. Lots of documents in terms of Word, Excel, PDFs, and all that. And we want to build a customer profile from the documents. And customers, you have CRMs and all that, but we wanted to give a complementary technology to these advisors. Give us all your thousands of documents. Even today, you might face a problem that one of your managers leave and the next person comes. Your CRM and all is there, but the documents, the folders are a mess, whether it is Google Drive or Microsoft SharePoint. You don't, oh, that document that customer gave. And the easiest is just like our banks do. When they don't need to find a document, they just say, we have to do a KYC. I just gave you the KYC 2 months back. That they have to search. Call the customer will come and give you the KYC documents again. That's the easiest. So most often, companies do ask the customers again the document. That's not an experience you want. So what we did is we took the documents and tried to create a complete customer portfolio from the documents. And we did 3 things: classify the documents into whatever categories that you want. These are know your customer document, these are investment document, these are personal property documents, so on and so forth. Compliance, how compliant are they with the US federal rules, US stock market rules, and all that. Last one is comprehension. Can we build a complete customer graph from these documents? We never aimed to be accurate. We never aimed to be a transaction system. We wanted to be a complementary system to what they are already using. And for that, we used machine learning to do this. And we took about nearly 2 years to build all these models. And it was a small investment, nothing great. But when we tried to crack it, this was what we were able to come up with. Build a customer portfolio from these documents only. What you see there is completely from the documents that this customer has given. Okay, now this is the startup. So that's the reason I know a little bit about this. So that's the reason why you should spend the next 20, 30 minutes listening to me talk about generative AI. What happened with this startup is an interesting question. Whatever we build becomes a one prompt offering that you can do with ChatGPT. So the startup didn't go anywhere in terms of financial thing. And in the pandemic, we couldn't get the funding for it. So that's a long story short. But we had a lot of interesting experience building it and building the models and all that. That's the reason why you should listen to me. Moving on, when we talk about artificial intelligence, machine learning, people use these terms interchangeably. Again, I'm not going to teach you what is a subset of what and all that. That let's leave it to the academicians. But the point I want to do is AI, which probably is going to replace each one of our jobs, or people who are using AI is going to replace each one of us, that's for sure, is not new. It's about 800 years old. First reference of AI, if you were to ask, goes back to this book, Catalan poet in Spain, Raman Lal. He wrote that how can you create new information from existing information? This was a paper-based system that he was talking about. The image is small, but that's the kind of idea. It's like a mechanical thing that he proposed using paper to generate new knowledge from existing knowledge. Today, whatever I'm showing you in ChatGPT or Bing or Google Gemini is all the same concept, generating something. So that concept is about 800 years old. So take it that 800 years, we have lived with the concept of generating new information. Sky hasn't fallen, humankind is still there. So if you're thinking robots are going to take over the world, I think that's a little over. I don't think so. In any of our lifetime, people in this room, we are going to see a world where AI is going to control or take over the world. That's far, far, far away. So let's not worry about it. But AI taking over a job is pretty much real. So what is this? What is generative AI and LLM? We'll see 3-4 slides, and then we'll move on, as I promised, to complete demos. It's a subfield of artificial intelligence. Obviously, it is generative AI. AI is there. What it does, it generates human-level quality text. That is the keyword. AI has always been there. ML has always been there. What has changed in the last 1.5 years after ChatGPT, OpenAI ChatGPT, is that it is able to give human-level quality. Okay. Sometimes what is human-level quality, you can argue. When you read most of the emails I get, especially from developers, I hardly think they have any human level intelligence. They have only code level intelligence. Their emails are absolutely unreadable. So I tell them sometimes you please type in Tamil or Hindi, I can figure it out much better. Please don't murder English when you don't understand. That's the problem. You want to communicate. They write great code, that's not the problem. But they are not able to communicate. Now these tools, ChatGPT and the others, are able to generate human level text that seems to be coherent. The keyword here is that seems to be coherent. When you try these tools for the first time, as you will do, you think there is some intelligence inside it. No, absolutely nothing. It's pure statistics. These tools, remember one thing, if you don't remember anything out of my talk, these tools, whatever it is, ChatGPT, Bing, or all that is doing, is guessing statistically what is the next word that is going to come. That's all it is going to doing. Sometimes when your internet is too slow, you can actually see ChatGPT, or if you're typing something in Hindi or Tamil, you'll see each character is coming up. That's how internally it also builds. It has absolutely no understanding about what you're doing. Okay? So there's no human brain sitting inside. It is statistically computing what is the next possible text that will come. So just remember that. Last, they called multimodal. Again, in the technology industry, we like to come up with fancy jargons, just like you have in your own industry. So it's multimodal. What does multimodal actually means? These models can understand text, audio, video, images. That's all multimodal means. Earlier, see, a lot of things that, it's like your Uber revolution. 10 years, 12 years back when Uber came, it's not that Uber invented GPS. Uber invented web, nothing. These technologies were there when they were of maturity level, when they all converged, Uber took advantage of it. So just is doing that these technology about transformers, GPT actually means generative pre-trained transformer model. So don't worry about that. Those were existing for the last 7-8 years. Image recognition was available, video generation was available, but they were all maturing and coming into a convergence. So ChatGPT took advantage of it. So these can understand both input as text, audio, video, etc. They can also output. Last couple of days you would have seen about OpenAI doing videos, generating videos by itself. Same time next year, probably you can give a prompt and say, generate a story for a Rajinikanth movie, which is funny with Vadivelu and all that. In a minute, it's going to give you the text. Give that to another model. It's going to generate a complete Rajinikanth movie for you and give it to you. You can watch. It's your own movie. As long as you don't give it to anybody else, you are within copyrights to do that. That's going to be available probably next 12, 24 months. That's the pace in which this is going. So we'll see how we take advantage of it. So one of the things, ChatGPT has got the fastest 100 million users in about a couple of months. Facebook took about 4.5 years, so on and so forth. Now we'll move on just 2 slides on what is a prompt and how do you use it. Next, then we'll move on to demos. Prompt, basically, how many of you have used ChatGPT here? Wow. How many of you know that you know fully ChatGPT? Or how many of you use it regularly for your work? Wow, that's a good number of people. Good. Let's see if I can show you some new tricks. Okay, so what is a prompt? Those of you who have done ChatGPT or using it in Bing or Google or whatever, prompt is basically like a command. You just say, I need this. Okay, what is the capital of France? It's going to say Paris. For that, why do you need generative AI? Google will answer it, but that's a different question. So you just give it an instruction. So remember, a prompt is an instruction. Then most important is you have to give it a context. Most often people use ChatGPT and say, if you're going to say, who's going to be the next year, this year Prime Minister? Obviously, ChatGPT is not going to know that. Okay? But if you're able to give it context, Indian elections are happening, these are the data for these candidates. Now can you compute and say who's likely to be the candidate? It's probably going to give you a reasonable answer. So the context is very important. Last input data, we talked about all this. And output indicator, how do you need the data? One of the tricks about ChatGPT, which some of your power users will know, rather than just ask for an answer, when you're comparing 2-3 things in ChatGPT, ask it to output the data as a table. And now once you get it as a table, you can export it to Google Sheets, Excel, and do all your magics later. That's a very powerful trick that you can use in ChatGPT. So the output format is important. Of course, the output format These are multi-models. So output format can be video, audio, text, and all that. Now, this is the first prompt we can do, and we'll go into demos and we'll start doing it. I'll get some audience inputs. If I ask ChatGPT, tell a joke, write a one-line joke to describe the bull run in the stock markets in India, make it simple to understand. Indirect reference, it answers, why do investors in India love yoga? Because they are great at handling upward-facing stock pose. It's like the upward-facing dog. If you didn't get the reference, it's a bad joke. But then it's able to come up with jokes. Why do you need jokes? Okay, I'll leave you that thought. Why do we need jokes? Now, if you remember my first slide, those of you who watched carefully my first slide, you would have noticed some imperfections in the image. It's actually not a photograph. It's a generated image. Sorry? I removed it. No. That I superimposed on that. If you notice carefully, the person standing is actually his laptop. You can't figure out where it is. Okay, don't strain yourself. That's not the point. The point is just imperfect. The person who's standing his laptop, you can't figure out. And the lady from the second, her fingers are not in the right position. Many of these images, and which is changing as we are speaking, if you look at the fingers, these models are very bad in generating fingers. Any reason why you think they are bad in generating fingers correctly? It's the easiest thing. Humans have 5 fingers. But these models have a tough time generating fingers. Any reason? Very simple. When I'm standing here, most often all the photographs are photographs. Even when we travel, we don't show our fingers. Only probably in a ring advertisement, I will show, oh, look at my hand. We don't do that. We like to show our faces. So most often, all the thousands, millions, and billions of images you upload in Google Photos, Facebook, whatever, are not focusing on your hands. Though my doctor friends will say from an anatomy, evolution perspective, the opposing thumb is the reason why humans were able to be successful and all that. But these images didn't have a lot of hands. So that's the reason. But of course, it is changing in the last couple of months. So there is imperfections in these. So remember, as I walk through the demos, these models tend to be imperfect. So don't take these models to be definitive. You can't be running your banking system on these models yet. There will be a time when you can, but not today. Types of prompts, very simple. I just want to say there are different types of prompts. Don't memorize or anything. These are not necessary to remember. And all these are also changing. Broadly, there are 0 shot prompts where you just ask a question, it gives a result. There are a few short prompts where you give some examples and say, what is the answer? Okay, you give some jokes, for example, and say, like this, generate a joke for me. That's a few short prompt. Chain of thought. This is a very interesting thing. If you, again, apart from this table output that I said, another tip you might want to remember, when you tell these models, why did you ask it a question and then say, why did you come up with this question answer? Can you break your answer step by step? Remember these keywords, step by step. If you're able to give that prompt to ChatGPT, it actually works much better. Why is it? Why does it do better when you say, why did you answer that way? Give me the step by step. Any guesses? Define it further. Any other reason? Actually, I found it very interesting. One of the research papers actually found out why is this step-by-step works. These models are trained on thousands of textbooks around the world. And what do we do in engineering or school? Answer your formula step by step. So these models are trained very well. When you say break it step by step. So they that particular corpus when they answer. Okay, similarly, more interesting thing. I talked recently in the last couple of days back in a Tamil Nadu government conference where I presented with Tamil examples, and they found many in the audience found it very interesting. When you tell these models, can you please answer? Please. These models do well. Why? Any reason why? Most of our communication is please, yes. I told you these models have no soul. They are not going to take our world or anything. Why does please work? That actually puzzled researchers. And one more interesting thing, that these models, even the creators, OpenAI or Microsoft or Amazon, they have built the neural network. There are thousands or millions of these neural networks, but nobody knows how those individual neurons work. Okay, why does ChatGPT answer the way it does? Nobody knows. There is research happening. Maybe we'll have a ChatGPT to answer why ChatGPT works that way. Why does please work? Any other guesses? I've been told I need to keep you awake till the coffee break. Okay, it's very simple. Just textbook. Those good answers made by people, those probably from blogs. Those good blogs or good documentation always were in courteous language. Courteous language always were in the same area as please, thank you, and all that. So now what I'm telling ChatGPT in a way, please don't go to the junk in the internet to pick up your information. Go to the good places in internet, which are courteous, which are having not necessarily the word please, but which are from good sources. So if the corollary is true. If you want to shout at somebody and you want to use the most baddest words, you know what you use. The opposite of please will get you that effect. These are various uses for ChatGPT. I'll show you many of these examples rather than this list. But the idea is, for you as the audience, you can use ChatGPT for all these use cases. The biggest use case that I think you can start using from today, as you go back to your offices, is client communication. That's the low-hanging fruit. You can immediately start using ChatGPT for that. Your social media posts, translation, summarization, market research, customer support. We'll see these examples. Many of my demos I'm going to show between ChatGPT, Bing, and Gemini. We'll see. Don't worry about, you don't need to type any command or anything. It's just my speaker notes. I've been warned by organizers, don't show any code, but I can't resist the temptation. Okay. Let's take education as an example. What is the easiest thing ChatGPT you can use? You want to go to a customer or send an email. What is mutual fund? Of course, you can Google and copy paste. Why not generate yourself? So take this prompt. And those of you who are keen, you can figure out that I've used something simple words, no jargons and all as keywords. So it gives you answers. Nothing great here. Okay, mutual funds are big baskets, etc. The reason I want to show you this is, it's a very simple prompt that's able to give you some output. And I just use no simple words, no jargons. The next time I run this, I'll get a different result. That's the beauty about these. Did you see? The answers are not same. If in any other computer system, your CRM, transaction, it'll be interesting if my bank statement, every time I refresh, says different figure. No, I will cash it out when it says the maximum number. Like somebody had 150 crores, I think with Lakshmi Vilas Bank or Karur Vysya Bank somewhere. One of the banks, Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank, I suppose. One of the banks had shown some 100 crores or whatever. I will rush to the bank immediately and cash it. Yeah, no, you don't need to even do that. You just ask the same question, it will give you a different answer. Okay, and remember again, these are statistical models. They are only taking probable causes. It's very fun. You can waste an entire day. I can stand here and keep doing thousands of prompts and we'll all enjoy doing that. We'll move on. The point is, so when you get an answer with ChatGPT, don't stop. Try it again. Do some tweaks. You'll actually get much better thing. The way I do it is, when I write a lot of movie blogs, which I'll try to show you a demo. I say, this is a movie blog I have already written. Now write this movie review, rewrite this in this particular fashion. And I'll say, give me choices. It's a brilliant system. If you're able to use ChatGPT as an ideation, as your assistant, it's a wonderful, wonderful tool. You want to know, I want to launch a new product. Come up with ideas. For the last talk I gave, I actually said, what is it, items, slides that I should be talking. It gave me excellent ideas. Of course, I threw away most of it and I used something, but it started making me think. And you can also ask, explain mutual fund. I said, in a very simple word, I could have said, understandable by a 10th grade. It's called role-playing in ChatGPT. It likes to role-play. Again, we all, computer technologists, we like to anthropomorphize, I guess that's the word. We like to make computers look like humans and we like to give it emotions and all that, but they don't have any of those. You can actually say, if Albert Einstein were supposed to explain mutual funds, how it will be. In the tone of Lincoln's popular speech, please write what is mutual fund. It's really interesting. You should try that. I actually tried when I got ChatGPT access earlier. Please explain what is artificial intelligence following the pattern of the Lincoln's popular speech. It was really interesting. It's in my blog, you should read. It's really funny. You'll never have gone there. Okay, so let's move on to the next example. We have very little time. Okay, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT to do this. Don't worry about the individual prompts. These prompts are available, or I can also share it in my blog. Okay, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT to read, it's a Google standard thing, Google Finance, what is the stock price of Infosys? Okay, I'm going to ask ChatGPT. Last couple of days, it's a little finicky, so I'm actually using a plugin here. Don't worry too much. This is a paid version of ChatGPT I'm using. Only in the paid version you will see these plugins available. In the plugin, I'm using a particular plugin to go to the internet and read. By default itself, the paid version of ChatGPT should work, but last couple of days it is not. In which case, if it's not using, you are not having the paid version of GPT, you can use Microsoft Bing, bing.com and use it. They both are powered by the same engine, but I'm using ChatGPT. I'll also show you in Bing. So let's go here. I'm going to ask it to read the Infosys stock and explain it to me. It's going to take some time. It's basically going to the internet, reading the data, and then kind of summarizing and giving you the results. Okay. The point here is, it's not difficult. You can go and look at the page. The data might not be accurate here, but what is the key takeaway here is, it tells you on a way that you can summarize financial information for your clients, or you're doing a PowerPoint. It's very useful. Now we'll build on this. Just keep seeing this. We'll move on to the next example. I can also ask it to, if I'm doing the same thing on, this is Google's Gemini. They are changing the model every day. Okay, so let me take the same thing and put it in Google Gemini. And that's also interesting. When you're using these tools, you might want to experiment with all of them. You'll get very interesting results. Okay, it says it can't do, but you can try it after some time. It should be able to do. You can do Bing and all that. You'll get the results. Basically, it is able to read something and do it. We'll build on and move on to more complex examples. Okay, I'm going to ask it to take an image that I've got of an investment, and I wanted to explain. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. So let's try doing that. In Gemini, I'm going to take an image which is having some financial information here. I'll show you the image in a second. Let's work that. The image I used is this one. This is the investment from a portfolio. I have just taken a screenshot and asked Gemini to describe this for me. So that's the result. It says date and kind of presence. Why you should care about this? You all are familiar. You can read it in a matter of seconds. The reason is, sorry? Why? Correct. No, the reason is it will make you more productive. You have hundreds of reports. How many of us read, say, Reliance annual report? We don't. But there may be gems out there. So you might want to give it to ChatGPT and say, summarize this for me. And I'm an investor. The context is important. So if you just give Reliance a report and say, summarize, Reliance themselves could have done. They give a synopsis, obviously. So you're not going to run a better model than Reliance to do the summarization. Why you should take the report and summarize yourself with ChatGPT? You might want to say, I am so-and-so. If I were to do it, I'll say, I'm Venkatarangan, I'm aged so much. I'm looking at a short-term investment horizon. Please read Reliance report and come up with the salient point. I should be worried as a short-term investor. What should I be of interest in this particular report? Then you take the decision. It is about empowering you, not the AI system to take decisions. The AI systems, if you give the context, will give you useful information on how you can act. So this is one example. We'll keep moving on. Okay. Now, a larger one, I'm going to take, I've written more prompt here. Again, I'll share these in my blog. But what basically I've said is, please read this Kotak Mahindra strategy report from their website, and then summarize them as a single email. And note this also, please take your time. That is another keyword in ChatGPT which kind of works very well. When you say ChatGPT step by step or please, and also when you say please take your time, It's actually you are telling your assistant, please take your time to do a good job. So if I tell ChatGPT, please take your time, it actually does a good job. And nobody knows why. That's the whole funniest part here. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take this and let's try this whole prompt. Okay, so to save time, I've already written these prompts. Let's go to ChatGPT. I'm going to upload that PDF I've got from yesterday from Kotak website. Okay, so many of you would have already read that. So I'm going to give it, it's a large file. I've told ChatGPT, please take your time to read this and then summarize as an one-line emailer and then do research and then come up with 5 stocks. This particular example, when I was experimenting it yesterday, Bing gave me a very interesting result. Gemini said it can't do this, whereas ChatGPT actually gave a very different results. What I've asked is, with this report from Kotak, please give me suggestions for 5 stocks that you might want to pick up the news and tell me those stocks. The point I want to make is, it is summarizing, it is actually an ideation. You are having a sounding board. You are reading this report, you are come up with this idea, please use ChatGPT to validate your idea and then come up with the different ideas. So like a sounding board, you might want to use this very effectively. It's able to give you all those results. With the Kotak report on this market, it's saying these are the stocks that I should be looking at. All your years of experience researching, the system is able to do it for you in like seconds. But remember, still the system can't do a prompt, correct? I had to write the prompt. Are you with me? That's also not true. There's also old science on how you can have ChatGPT write prompts for you. Okay, and there are tools which will tell you how to ask it to write prompts. Go to the internet and you search. There is, just like how yesterday, a couple of days back when I was researching on investment mutual fund advisories on YouTube, many of you probably, or some of you are also there, influencers. I got thousands and thousands of videos on how to, I don't know how many, those many individuals will be in India investing, but there are so many influencers on YouTube talking about how to invest in mutual funds. So just like that, there are thousands of people, more than people who are developing ChatGPT, are talking about how to use ChatGPT. Okay, I'm going to use it to compare a couple of stocks, okay, and then ask it to give a report. That's what I'm going to be doing here. And I've broken it down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This again makes the system better. So just because you're talking to a system, don't jumble everything. Okay, the system doesn't really care, but if you break it down, the way it actually organizes the results and comes back, it does make a difference. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to Bing in this case, and then ask it. Again, the point is not the individual prompts. I've said go to money control, pick up that stock. I've said it's a portfolio recommendation. No, it's not the comparison. I've taken a different prompt. Fine. What I've asked here in the prompt is, can you read the details from this particular fund? Can you summarize in one paragraph? Is this fund recommended for a 30-year employed female in India who wishes to save for her children's education? Read the details from another fund. Can you compare both? Yes, I've combined both the prompts. So, see, probably this is something that you do on a very regular basis, you do to your clients. So this way you can do it. You can compare, and as your clients, you can give them multiple options. The system is able to do this and see the results. Here is the point I was making. When you ask it to give it output as a table, it becomes better for you. Now that one, you can export to Excel. And then you can start doing your own magic. Gemini will have an option exported to Google. Here you see Excel. You click it, it's editable in Excel. The same thing you can do, but it's probably going to take you 3-4 hours to do this, or 2 hours to do this. It's like 4 seconds. That's the power of ChatGPT. So understand where it can improve your productivity. And answering the problem we started with, ChatGPT may not going to be replace you, but like the saying goes, people who are employing these tools are going to replace you. They'll be much more efficient. When you're handling 10 clients a day, with this you should be able to handle 100 or 1,000 clients. You can also automate this. Your products that the CRMs that you're using, whether it is Red Vision or whatever you're using, are going to be bringing these features out of the box in a matter of months or years. So, but you need to start becoming proficient in these tools so that you can take advantage of those. See, it's come in Excel and then you can all do your magic. Okay, this is a very interesting example. Let me do this. What is a gist of this prompt that I've written? Okay, let me do a new one. Sometimes don't continue on the same chat. When you're doing a different topic, please do a new chat. Otherwise, the context gets confusing. What I've written in this prompt, again, I'm not going to read verbatim. You are writing a recommendation to an NRI living in the US, telling them that this is how you need to allocate your portfolio, 30% on short term, 50% on debt, 30% on equity. And I want the email to compare Indian market, financial market, with the terms that he or she might be familiar in the US. You obviously, or I don't know what terms are used in the US, but they understand. You have to talk in the language of your customer. That doesn't mean English, Tamil, Hindi. It also means the context and the jargons they understand. But how do you write it? To research about US market, how do they talk about mutual funds? It's going to be a one-day reading effort for you, even with YouTube. With ChatGPT, I gave it a prompt. I'm writing this to a customer in the US where I'm proposing this portfolio. Please substantiate on the reasons why am I proposing. And see the results that it has come up with. Obviously, 30% debt. And it's also calculated the returns. That's the beauty. I'll show you the prompt I gave. Can I take a few more minutes? I think I have 2 minutes, but I might want to go another 2-3 minutes. So this is the prompt I gave. It's a lengthy prompt I've written, but it's all English. You're not coding. That's the point. Take your time experimenting this tool. It's so powerful. And this is the best I could do on a portfolio recommendation. I'm sure with all your individual experiences, you'll be able to write this prompt much, much better. And the email that will go to your customer will sound very professional. None of your large competitors will be able to spend this kind of time advising a portfolio to an individual customer. You might be able to do it. That will be your winning card. And this, you can also generate a music to go with this. Okay, let's try that as the last demo. So this is the prompt I gave. I asked ChatGPT, I said it's multimodal. I asked it to generate a music for me. Okay, 10-second jingle to celebrate me winning a 30% return on my investment. Okay, is 30% return good? Okay, so let's see what it comes up with. You've come a long way, investing and calculated every single day. You took a chance and now it's paying off, my friend. You got that sweet, sweet victory within your hands. 30% return on investment. Yeah, that's it. Actually, I like the lyrics a lot. Thank you. Carnatic, that's a tough thing. Okay, I tried Veena. Okay, and it actually came up with drums, I think, so I didn't show it. So I'm only showing the finished products here. So you should remember. There are people who are working on Indian models, joke aside. There's a phase where there are a lot of models done. From India also, a lot of Indian models are coming up. In fact, Tamil Nadu government is also exploring about doing one. Ola founder is working on a model for India. Language, government of India is working with Bhashini, building a lot of those models. So when we talk about AI, people wrongly mistake that it's only language, it's only text. We should also talk about, because it can generate music, videos, and all that, it's also about our culture, heritage, tradition, and all that. If I don't teach the model Bharatanatyam, 10 years down the line, when everybody learns Bharatanatyam only from ChatGPT, they will not know. So I should teach the model. So that's very important. So only then the context generating. But the point, let's come back here. The point I want to make is, you're talking to your customer, use ChatGPT to talk in their language. And they like music, it's able to write you lyrics. And I found the lyric to be very good. In fact, the chorus was actually very good. Okay, let's move on. I've run out of time, but let me just wrap up and then probably take any questions. So those are the models. I'll give you just 2-3 slides. Very quickly, we'll go. Another 2 minutes, please. Okay, these are bad prompts examples. Just focus on them. You will get the idea. Don't ask what to do when a customer is angry. Please don't ask ChatGPT this. It's not going to give you useful information. Give it the context. I am handling a customer for whom I missed a payment or who's having a bad return. How do I talk to him? Can I tell him a story to make him better or make a jingle to make him feel better. Give it context. Okay, how to increase returns. So basically the point of all these bad prompts is don't give generic prompts. Give it some context. Good prompts tend to be longer prompts. If you look at the second example, how can a first-time investor in India start their journey into mutual funds with a balanced risk profile? This is a good prompt that you can ask ChatGPT. And if you can give it some more examples, it will be even better. Tips for writing prompts. There are many, but the most important is experiment. Keep experimenting. The order of asking questions also matter. You can't mix up all that. Just like a human being, you tell your person, go to first this store, go to the second store, third store, pack everything, go to courier. Just like that, tell ChatGPT. It will do a much better job. And also say, like I said, please, step by step, take your time, and there may be other things also you might want to try. Last thing, very important, please don't take data from ChatGPT as gospel or right. Always validate. These things do what we call as hallucination. Basically, they just do mistakes. Instead of saying mistakes and bugs, we say hallucination. But they do those. So be careful. People are trying to make it better. I'll tell you a mistake that they did recently and then close with the slide. I'll show you a quick example. Yeah. If any of you have seen news yesterday, Google has stopped their Gemini system from generating image. One of the things we saw, they stopped it from generating image. So they stopped their system from generating image. The reason was very, I won't say simple, but very interesting. So they asked for a portrait of a founding father of America, and you see the mistake the system has done. And everybody in the US is crying, and Google has blocked the thing. And it's interesting. They do hallucinate. And people are putting more and more of guardrails to fix those. So last slide. And the key takeaway, if anything you remember from this talk, apart from the many things I said, I like this quote from the person who invented the computer mouse, Doug Engelbart. Technology should not aim to replace humans, rather than amplify human capabilities. So for me, ChatGPT, I use it every day. I use it to complement my capabilities. Last point before I wrap up, I showed you ChatGPT, Bing, Google. There is also open source models. One of them I'm running in my machine. Any of you interested offline, I can show you. So some of these models, if you think your data is too confidential, you might want to use a local source, open source model and run it in your machine. But that requires a little bit of technology. So thank you so much. Can I take a question or I've run out of time? I've run out of time. I'll hang around any questions. I'll take it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, friends. Let's give him a big round of applause for introducing AI into our lives.